Thank you so much for joining us today for our expert talk on 7 tips for success as an independent professional. Throughout the presentation, you do have the ability to communicate with us via the chat and the Q&A. I would request that if you have a question you'd like us to address, we do have a Q&A section at the end of the presentation, but feel free to drop those questions specifically on the Q&A side, as the chat can move quite quickly and I might miss your question. Okay, so feel free to go ahead and drop in those comments in chat and questions in the Q&A, and we'll go ahead and get to as many of those as we can. My name is Will Simpson, and I am an Upwork event manager, and we're joined today by Olaniyi Musediq, who is an Upwork top-rated plus content creator and digital marketer. Thank you very much for joining us today, Olaniyi. So we know you're a top-rated plus freelancer on Upwork with a really solid track record of receiving 5-star reviews from your clients. Can you tell us a little bit about your first steps and experience being an independent professional?
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. It's really a great pleasure to be here amongst you all today. And I feel so honored speaking to you all beautiful people from different parts of the world. It's a pleasure indeed. Well, as Will already said, my name is Musediq Olaniyi. I'm a top-rated plus content writer on Upwork. And today, I hope by the time you leave this session, you would have been able to acquire some knowledge about how I actually went through from having nothing to actually becoming a top-rated plus freelancer. I would like to share with you that the beginning of my freelance journey might be different from the story of an average freelancer, you know. I didn't start on a smooth ground. I started from a rough surface and struggled to rise from swamps. I lacked the basic items required of a content writer when I started. I had no laptop. All I had to my name then was just 1 gigabyte Android phone to my name. I don't know, many of you might have used such kind of device before. So you know the kind of challenges in using those kind of devices. So, but I started anyway with that 1 gigabyte Android phone, because I don't believe in the philosophy of having everything you need before you start. I believe you can start whatever you want, wherever you are, and with whatever you have. So I started my content writing career with my 1 gigabyte Android phone, but today that story has changed. I mean, I can own a laptop warehouse if I wish today. And I purchased my first house in Lagos a few days ago. So I am very happy to share with you my journey as a top-rated plus content writer today. So thank you, Will, for having me here.
It's my pleasure. So fantastic. Let's dive in here. So what do we have here? Olaniyi, you want to introduce this slide for us?
Yeah, so there are actually several things I would like to share with you today. I hope the little time we have will be able to actually accommodate the things we want to discuss today. So there are things that actually helped my success as an independent professional, which I would actually like to share with you today. And one of it is finding your passion. It is easier to succeed when you do something you're passionate about. So I would like to actually discuss about this today with you and several other points.
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, how did you find your niche passion, sort of having a bit of overlap here? Did you know immediately that you wanted to be in content creation, or did you sort of play around in a few different areas?
Well, I knew I wanted to do content writing because I was actually a passionate writer and editor before I became a freelancer. I used to write loads of content and post on social media pages, especially on Facebook. So people go there and read my content. So I write a lot about socioeconomic issues in my country. So I had a lot of engagement, people commenting, people reaching out to me and commenting my effort and all. So I automatically knew that this is something I love to do. So I love the feedback I'm getting. So when I was offering this service, I wasn't getting paid for it. Of course, you know, when you post stuff on your social media page, you might not get paid from anybody. So I was doing it for free. I was so passionate about it. Then it got to a point where I just sat down and realized that there's a need in the client side. Client also requires content writers who can actually help them achieve their respective goals. So individuals and companies around the world. I knew they needed content writers who can actually help them in writing down certain things about their companies, about their products, about their services. So I decided to actually channel that energy towards helping individuals and companies from around the world. So I knew I wanted to become a content writer from the start. So I didn't start by offering a different service and jumping into content writing. No, I started as a content writer from the beginning, even before becoming a freelancer.
That's fantastic. It actually, you remind me a little bit of my first journey into, so my freelancing side of things is I do graphic design. And you just reminded me that when I first started, or right before I started freelancing, I was spending a lot of time on Facebook and using Photoshop to edit people's pictures, like my friends with children, put them in funny scenarios, you know what I mean? Just do some little Photoshop edits. And I was doing the same thing for free, honing that skill, and then realizing I have a passion for this. I could be doing this for work. So it's funny how that works
Yeah,
out.
absolutely.
So next up, why is it important to find your passion? Is there a difference in working with something that you're passionate about as opposed to just focusing on something that is known to be a lucrative sector to be in?
Wow. See, when you offer a service you're passionate about, then your progress will be more rapid than if you just do something you are not passionate about. As the great American author Dale Carnegie, who wrote the book, the popular book in 1936, How to Win Friends and Influence People, he said, "You never achieve success unless you like what you are doing." So if you offer a service you are passionate about, then your service, your progress as an individual or your success as an individual will actually be rapid. And if you just do it for the money, if you do it for the money and you start and the money is not forthcoming as you expected, then it is very easier for you to just give up. In fact, there's scientific evidences that even back up this claim that when you are passionate about something, then it's since your progress as an individual, not even as a freelancer or independent professional alone, whatever you do, there are scientific evidences that back up this claim. And one of those scientific evidences was a New York Times bestseller and pioneering psychologist, Angela Duckworth, conducted a research to identify why some people actually succeed and others fail. After interviewing dozens of high achievers, including JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon, he concluded that the secret to outstanding achievement is a special blend of passion, quote and unquote, passion and persistent equals great. So it is essential that you are passionate about the kind of service you render if you actually want your progress as an individual to be rapid. So don't just do it for the money. Don't just do it because others are doing it. Do it because you are passionate about it, and you see your progress will rapidly move from 0 to 100.
Sorry, had myself on mute there. Have you ever ventured outside your niche, your specific segment of what you're working on, like taking on jobs for clients that you perhaps weren't fully passionate about, but the client was requesting you sort of venture outside a little bit? Have you ever broadened that horizon?
Actually, I love challenges. So I love to try new things. So sometimes you have to know your limitations too. So I've tried things that I'm not really passionate about, yes, but most of the time they don't really end well. They don't really end well when I try things I don't love to do because you won't put in all your best. So since I realized, because when you begin as an independent professional, you sort of want to try different things. So, but when I tried some other things, I realized my passion is not there. So I just brought back I returned myself to offering the kind of service I know I'm actually passionate about delivering. So I returned myself to offering the content writing and editing services, which is actually what I do today.
Yeah, I had a similar sort of experience when I first started doing graphic design. It's a very wide sector. It's sort of like IT. IT has so many different sub flavors. And in graphic design, I tried to do a little bit of everything. And I quickly found out what my niche was because I like, I don't want to do and that. And I whittled that list down to just about
Yeah,
3 topics that I am passionate about and worked quite well. So, a similar sort of workflow there.
absolutely.
So how would you recommend for our attendees to find their own passion or niche if it's not already readily available like it was for you and I?
Well, to find your passion is not something, it's not rocket science, it's not that challenging. So all you need to do as an independent professional to find your passion is you have to sit down, relax, and identify what you actually love to do. How do you identify these things? You don't limit your knowledge and your experience to the limited things you know already. So you have to make more findings. You have to step out of your box and see things from other perspectives. So you can go online and make research. For instance, if you want to be a freelancer on Upwork, so you can just go online and search for top freelance skills on Upwork. When you go online, see, we live in a digital age where you have access to everything you need on the internet space. So in this age, at this time, you have everything you need with your phone and the internet. So just go online, search for top freelance skill on Upwork. Then you'll find a couple of skills there. So with those skills, you can actually begin to like, okay, filter down, okay, check each of the skills you have there, then look at which one do you actually love the most. Which one can you offer for free? Or which one can you just offer and you're happy doing? And that is your passion when you find it. So the best way to actually find your passion is to make research. When you make research, then you filter out all the available options you have and choose the specific one you actually will love to offer individuals and companies who need such service.
Yeah, definitely. Um, for those that were curious in the chat, we will be having a Q&A session. We're going to do Q&A at the end. So feel free to drop any questions you have in the little Q&A section. We'll go ahead and review those once we get to the end here. Thank you so much. Let's move on to the next slide here. All right, improving your skills. So why is it important to be constantly working on your skill sets as an independent professional?
Well, it is in fact essential that you keep working on your skills. Otherwise, you'll find yourself being swept out at the end of the day. Because if you don't keep working on your skills, you'll see that those that are actually, it's very competitive out there, and individuals and companies, clients are consistently looking for the best hands to handle their jobs. So if you are not the best at what you do, then eventually you'll see things are not working the way you actually want it to be. So the kind of knowledge you have today, things might change tomorrow. So if you don't keep updating your skills, then eventually you see clients are not coming your way. And even if they come your way, you see they complain about the kind of service you render to them. So it is important that you keep working on yourself, you keep working on your skills, take those courses, you go online, make more research, see new things in your field. So it is very important that you keep working on yourself if you are actually determined to grow in whatever thing you actually do.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. And it can be so difficult as an independent professional to know, should I be spending my time writing proposals? Should I be spending my time researching new and emerging technologies or software, things of that nature? How do you go about improving your skills? I know that there's different, there's the Upwork Academy. We had a recent release Upwork Academy. I'll find a link for us here in a minute. But what are some of the other ways that you find to educate and expand your skill sets?
Well, there are lots of opportunities. You just go online. See, I keep repeating it. See, in this age, there's limited opportunity for you to grow. Like you have no excuse whatsoever not to grow, not to do what that exact thing you want to do. When I started out as a freelancer, I didn't have the money. I didn't have everything I needed. So I had to reach out, check online and still kind of make more research and try to put everything I needed together and get all the information I need online. So you can go online. There's Udemy there. You can go on Udemy to actually search. Like you just download the app on your phone and you take courses there. If you don't have the money to go on Udemy, you can go on Allison. You take free courses there. So you have all these resources which, as long as you have your device, you have all the resources you need with that just device. So just go online, make that download those applications and search for whatever skill you actually want to take, then you take those skills. So you can go on Udemy, you can go on Allison and several, in fact, you can go on YouTube, you can go on Google. So all the information you need are on the internet. So those are very good ways you can actually improve your skill as an independent professional.
Definitely. I personally, on the graphic design side, spend a lot of time watching YouTube videos on different techniques on how to do things. I have the Adobe programs are immense in their capabilities, and I've never met anyone that knows every capability of each one of those programs. But I have enough knowledge in the different sectors that I know exactly what to Google, and I know how to follow those instructions when I'm watching that video. So it enables me to take on projects that maybe I'm not familiar with in the past or I've never done before, or an effect that I've not enabled. But you're right, the information is out there. You just need to go get it and make sure you're adding that to your portfolio. Now, how much time do you suggest that we spend on educating ourselves and improving our skills? Is this something you do weekly? Is this something you do on a monthly or quarterly basis? What does it look like for you?
Oh, it depends on the stage you are. as an independent professional. If you are at that stage where you are just starting out as an independent professional, then you need to invest more in acquiring those skills. Then you need to take those courses perhaps every day to update yourself and get. You have to designate, but maybe just a few weeks or some months to acquire that skill. Okay, you want to be a graphic designer. You have to designate, let's say, the next 2 weeks or the next. I'm just giving a time frame. That might not be enough actually. Just designate that, okay, within this time frame, I have to finish this course I want to take. So that is for beginners. Now, if you are an independent professional and you are doing very well already, then you want to upskill yourself, then it falls back to the concept of time management. So you have to like weigh how much time do you have to work for clients and how much time do you have to upskill yourself. So you must be able to balance these two together. So you must be able to balance. So it might not be an everyday thing for a person who already have the skill, just want to upskill. It could just be something you do perhaps just, let's say, once in a week or twice in a week. Just designate, let's say, just 2 hours to take courses and learn more, make more research in your respective field.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to educating yourself and doing some of these courses, do you find that it's important to get certificates? Like I have completed a course in Adobe Illustrator, or is it more important to just have the ability to showcase these skills like in our portfolio items on Upwork?
Well, if you can get a certificate, fine, like good for you. But then that shouldn't be an excuse why you shouldn't even start in the first instance. Certificates in this age are just papers, not very important at this point in time. I said, if you can get a certificate, then good for you. But the most important thing is that you get the skills. Like you should be good enough to actually handle the job yourself. If a client gives you a job and you actually present a certificate before you do the job, and at the end of the day, you don't get the job done as required, the client will not say, hey, you got a certificate before you did the job, and let me just take it like that. No, you have to do the job well. So the skills are more essential than the certificate. So I believe more in people having the skills than people having the certificate. But then if you can get the two, then fine for you. But if you still can't get the two, that shouldn't even stop you from starting in the first instance.
Definitely. So let's move on to the next one here. Money should not be the primary motivation. Okay, so you need to be passionate about the work, or you'll accept jobs that you aren't really into, will end up doing subpar delivery. We touched on this earlier, money being a motivator. Now, what do you mean by following excellence on this slide?
You see, a while back, I actually watched a movie, a Bollywood movie by Khan. I've forgotten the full name, something Khan. So there is this quote in that movie I love so much. I've seen that movie over 10 years ago, so but I still have the quote in my head. So it says, follow excellence and success will chase you. So what that literally means is that when you offer excellent services, then eventually success will actually come to you. So if you offer the best services to individuals or your clients, you offer the best service, not only will they keep working with you, they will keep recommending your services to others as well. They give you good reviews, and eventually your growth will just move so rapidly. So it is important that you offer excellent services if you want to grow in whatever thing you do. So follow excellence and success with you. That is actually what it means. Yeah, Shahrukh Khan.
Yeah, I was just about to call that out. We have a fellow enthusiast in the audience. Shahrukh Khan, thank you. Now, have you noticed a difference in your experience finding jobs when you focus on just providing excellence to your customer rather than just doing a pretty good job on many projects all at once just to get them done and paid?
No, to me, is the kind of service I render is not just because of the money. No, I don't do it for the money alone. When I wake up every morning, I want to wake up believing that I'm offering that I am going to do something I love to do. Life is too short than just doing everything, just chasing the bags every time. Do what you love. So I love to do what I like. I do what I actually love. So I don't just do anything for the money. So this has actually helped me a lot as an independent professional. So you see, I get excellent reviews on my profiles. So clients come there, prospective client comes there. So they see the excellent reviews, which is actually the result of the work I did for someone else. Then they actually come to me as well to offer to offer a similar service as well. So to me, it's about offering the best service, not just chasing the bags.
Yeah. Now, there's a lot of questions here asking about like difficulties starting up. I just wanted to let everyone know in the chat, we will be getting to that topic in a later slide. I'm not ignoring you. I just don't want to give away too many spoilers here. So, Olaniyi, do you typically have a lot of projects on the go at once, or do you prefer to just focus on a small amount of projects at any given time?
Wow. Like I said earlier, I didn't say money should not be a motivation. I actually want to take this now. I didn't say money should not be a motivation. I said it shouldn't be the primary motivation. So money should not be the primary motivation. Money could be a motivation. So in this aspect now, I prefer to do shorter jobs that pay more. That help, such jobs help me to focus on offering excellent services. So if I have a client that wants to pay me more for a particular service, I know I am going to put in all my best to actually deliver excellent for this job. Like a while back, I had an interview with a client who actually wanted me to edit an ebook. So what I did was that during the interview session, the client asked, okay, how much am I going to charge for the job? And we negotiated. So I told that client that day, like, okay, see, this job I want to do for you, I want to give my best. Like while I'm doing it, I also want to have at the back of my mind that I'm getting rewarded, like I'm getting appropriate reward for this job. I don't want to give my best and at the back of my mind, I'm not too happy because I'm not getting the kind of reward I want. So I prefer to do jobs that are not too much, but are paying me more than having a lot of jobs that are not paying as much as I want.
Yeah. Now, so we've established that while money, in your opinion, money should not be the primary motivator, it is definitely a motivator. And I think everyone can agree with that, or else we'd all be sitting back by the beach, right? So on that topic, do you have any money motivated goals?
Absolutely. I'm human. I have money motivated. I have money motivated goals. A while back, I think last year, I had a goal for myself, like, okay, I'm gonna buy myself a house last year. And all I was doing was freelancing. So I had a goal, I'm gonna get a house. Of course, I'm not gonna buy myself a house with just sand or stones. No, I need money to do that. So money became a motivation for me at that point. So when I wake up every morning, if I wake up every morning, I knew that I have this goal set for myself. I need to buy a house. Automatically, if I want to go back to bed, my brain tells me, hey, you want to buy a house. That's not what people want to buy a house. To get up and go and work. So in that aspect, money was actually a motivation for me. And eventually I did bought myself a house this year. So money was a motivation and actually helped my growth as an independent professional.
Yeah, that's great. And congratulations on the house. That's going to be a great feeling.
Yeah.
In regards to goal setting, what does this look like to you? Do you just, think about it while you're drinking coffee in the morning? Do you write it down? Is this part of your workflow? How do you manage and set your goals?
No, I don't just have my goals in my head and expect everything to work out myself. No, I've read a lot of books, and most of these books will always recommend that you have your goals written down, like have it written down, don't just keep it in your head. So you see, the way the mind works is that you have a lot of things in your head, so you can easily get distracted if you don't have these things written down. So if I have a goal for myself, I sit down, get my pen and paper and write it out. So whenever whenever I get distracted or anything like that, I go back to my goal book and review it. Hey, you have this goal, you have this thing to achieve, you have this to achieve. It reminds me of what I want to do and returns me back on track. So I note my goals. I don't just put them in my head.
Yeah, it's a good method there. Now, a lot of people, I know I've been guilty of this. A lot of people get so focused on achieving goals that once you set a goal and you meet a goal, they immediately just cross it out and set the new goal and just focus on that. And they don't really take time to celebrate or mark the achievement. Do you celebrate your successes after you hit a goal, or do you simply cross it out and move on to the next?
No, I don't cross it out. I don't cross it out. I celebrate my success. So let's say, for instance, I might set a goal for myself, like this time around, I want to eat, let's say I want to make $10,000 on this platform by offering excellent services to clients on Upwork, for instance. Then if I am able to eat that $10,000 at that specific time I set for myself, I might just take $1,000 out of the money and just choose to just spend it the way I want on myself. That's a way of appreciating that you did a very good job for yourself. So I don't just set a goal, get it done. No, that's not how it works. I love to enjoy life myself. So if I achieve a goal, I go back and celebrate myself so that I am always inspired to actually do more. See, the way the mind works again is that there are two ways you can actually get things done. You can choose the reward mechanism or you choose the punishment mechanism. The reward mechanism works in the aspect that if you get something done, if you set a goal for yourself and you get that thing done, you are going to reward yourself for it. So if you want to get demotivated in the process of getting that thing, then you remember the reward you have actually set for yourself. That reward can actually be a motivation for you. So the other aspect is the punishment aspect. If I don't get this done, then I'm going to punish myself doing it. So I use the two. So I reward myself when I actually achieve a goal.
That's great. And folks, I just posted the link to the events page again in the chat. So a recording of this webinar will be available after we're done in a few days. It'll post in a few days, but there's also other resources. A lot of people in the chat are asking, how can we hone some of these additional skills? There's a lot of great resources in there, like how to write really strong proposals, how to dial in your portfolio. And we also interview just, people that are titans in their industry, whether that's designing or whether that's coding, whatever the case may be. But a good question here, Oni, I wanted to pose to you here. I know we're not in the Q&A section, but I thought it was topical. The question was, using your strategy, how long did it take before regular work started coming in? I know a lot of people struggle in the beginning to get, a regular stream of work, and that can be a challenge for sure. How long did it take you to find some sort of regularity with your jobs?
Well, it takes as long as you are able to do the right thing. So there's no straightforward answer to that. It could take someone 2 days to actually begin to get regular jobs, and it could take another person 2 years before actually getting regular jobs. So it all falls back on the concept of doing the right thing, doing the right thing. You have a profile, your profile is not well set, your proposals are not good, your bio is not good, then you might be there for years, nothing will come your way. Another person can just join today and do those things right. So I'm bringing out these concepts is not the function of time, it's the function of the kind of service, like how you are able to design, how the quality you are bringing in. So how are you able to design your profile? How well is your skill? How are you able to present your proposals? So if you can do this well, then eventually you see you'll begin to grow more rapid than expected. So there's no straightforward answer for that. All falls back on knowing the right thing to do.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that one. And I think for me, when I was first starting, I wasn't really leveraging a lot of the resources like the academy that wasn't out yet, but a lot of the other webinars such as this. I wasn't attending any webinars or educating myself. I was just trying to hammer out a whole bunch of proposals, and it didn't work. When it started to work for me was when I stopped and I analyzed, okay, what I'm doing is not working. So I need to figure out what does work. So I started looking at other people's profiles and portfolios, people that were doing really well in the design and creative category that I'm in. And I was thinking, okay, well, they're finding success. What is the difference between the way they're presenting themselves and the way I'm presenting myself? Things of that nature. So sometimes it, as counterintuitive as it may seem, it makes sense to just pause and reassess, as opposed to just banging your head against a wall with something that's not working. But once I did start educating myself, doing A/B testing on my proposals, things of that nature, more the analytical side, I found that I was able to get a regular amount of work flowing in within about 2 to 3 weeks, but that was after 3 months of banging my head against a wall and doing it incorrectly. So exactly as you said, you got to take the time to dial in the pieces before you find that success, whether that's in 2 days or in 2 years. It's up to you. So I think it's a very good point. Thank you. Next up, discipline, a very important topic. Now, when you work a typical 9-to-5 job, your schedule is essentially formed for you, generally by your boss, in the form of tasks and standing objectives. When you're a freelancer, time management is now entirely up to you. So what are some of your techniques or workflows for successful time management?
Well, it's about noting down what you want to do. If I woke up in the morning, for instance, I pick up my paper and my pen. I'm a pen and paper person, so I love to write things down. So when I wake up in the morning, I itemize everything I want to do for that day. So I itemize everything I want to do for that day. So that's in itself helps me to manage my time even before I get to that time. So I designate okay, at this time, this is what I'm going to do. At this time, this is what I'm going to do. So if you are able to note down everything you want to do, don't just do anything that comes your way, like the way it just comes, just do it like that. No, that's not how it works. So if you are able to sit down and be able to note what you want to do, then eventually you see you are able to manage your time efficiently.
Yeah. So you mentioned you're a pen and paper person. I am as well. Do you use any other tools to manage your time, or is it just a bunch of notebooks and sticky notes? around the
No,
place.
no, that's not enough, because sometimes you go out, you're not with your notes, so you also need something. You need more resources to actually help note your plans. So I have Google Calendar on my phone. So with Google Calendar, I'm able to note, okay, at this time, this is what I'm going to do. At this time, this is what I'm going to do. So besides that, I also have a note on my phone. I have a note. So three things now: the pen and paper, the Google Note, and a note separately on my phone. So that note, I quickly like note down some other things I need to do for the day or for the week or anytime I choose to do them.
Perfect. And what is your process for submitting your work? As you know, as independent professionals, nobody is there to double check our work except the client when we submit it. So are there any steps that you take to make sure that your deliverables are professional and polished before you send them to the client?
Oh, if you start out as an independent professional and especially as a content writer, and you are not very careful about delivering the best, no one will teach you before you actually fall back and start delivering the best service. So because you see the effect on your profile. So what I do, my process is that when I'm done writing as a content writer, when I'm done writing, so I take a break. I take a break, just go around, perhaps just 1 hour, do whatever thing, leisure activities. So do anything I just want to do. I just engage myself in anything like that. So when I'm done with those things, then I come back and I relax, then start editing the content. So when I'm done editing, that's when I submit to my clients. Because if I don't do the proper editing and just take the content to submit to the client, then eventually you see that when you were supposed to be doing other things, that's when the client will message you that, hey, you didn't do this, you didn't, and that will even disrupt your plan for the day. So it's always best to do the best once and for all, and before you proceed to other things as well.
Absolutely. Now, how important is scheduling downtime in your schedule? Time where you're not focused on work, you're not focused on billable hours, you're not focused on enhancing your skills. What does that look like for you?
Oh, I'm not just a work person, so I might talk and encourage you to do things, but then it's not about just working all the time. So you need time to relax as well. You need time to just sit down, just chill, like like we used to say in Nigeria. So just chill, just relax, feel relaxed. Don't rush yourself all the time. You need to engage in other activities. You need to visit friends. You need to do other activities. You need to engage in exercise and other things. So it is not just ordinary, not just important. It's very important that you do those things. See, the way our mind works, again, I like to talk a lot about how our mind works because everything we do all falls back on the way we think. So the way our mind works is that if you just engage in activities of work alone, then all your mind will be while you're working, everything you think about is the work. But if you engage in other leisure activities, like you just step away from the job, then it enhances your creativity. You are able to think about other things, that you have other ideas coming to your head. Okay, you can also do this. Okay, you can also do that. So that is actually the best way to grow. So don't just be a work person. You also have to be a play person, but you should be able to balance the two.
Solid advice, and advice that I'm bad at taking sometimes. Oftentimes I just get that tunnel vision and I got to keep working, but you're right, stepping away is vital.
Absolutely.
So next up, we have flocking around the right people. So how important is it to develop a community in your freelancing? And what does that look like for you?
Wow. It's in fact essential. See, sometimes as an independent professional, working from home might be kind of depressing sometimes if you are not very careful. You are just indoor all the time. You don't have anybody you are discussing your career with. You don't have anybody that needs to help you do this. So it might be depressing, and your growth might even be slow if you are not very careful. So what I do is that I belong to a couple of communities. I have a community on WhatsApp, for instance. So writing of 6.0 there about the name of our community. So in that community, we have over 300 freelancers. So over 300 freelancers, people offering different services. So now, for instance, if you have issues as a freelancer, then let's say your account was suspended and you are new to freelancing, you are new to Upwork, for instance, and your account was suspended. You don't know why your account was suspended. So you go to such community You tell them, oh, see, this is actually my experience. My account has been suspended. Then someone who had that experience will actually come up to your rescue and talk to you. Okay, this is what you should do. This is what you should do, and this is what you shouldn't do in the long run. So it's hasting your progress as an independent professional. So it is important to have a community. Don't just sit there and do everything yourself. So it is important to have a community if you actually want to grow. I have friends, actually. I also have friends. So some of my friends are part of my contributors that contributed to my success as an independent professional. So we share ideas about how is it like we can grow. So when we started, the jobs were not forthcoming. We sit together, we brainstorm together. Those are my community. So we sit and brainstorm together. What are the things we are not doing right? What are the things we need to start doing right? So we begin to identify our mistakes and begin to correct them. So like they used to say, two heirs are always better than one. So it's good to have a community. Yeah. So I belong to a community.
Fantastic. And what are some of the ways that you find motivation or inspiration when you're feeling down or feeling slow or just simply wake up uninspired, which happens to all of us, I'm sure?
That question actually reminded me about my journey as an independent professional when I started out. In fact, that was one of the most challenging period of my life. And the best way I actually found the master motivation for myself is through reading. So when I started as an independent professional, I started as a content writer. Let me just be specific. So when I started as a content writer, I had no money. I couldn't even afford books to read for myself. So all I was making then was just to just sustain myself, just get money, just eat, and that's all, and just find ways to actually grow myself. So what I did then to actually get motivation, because at a point I nearly lost motivation. So what I did then to actually get the motivation I needed was to go to libraries. So I would go to the libraries and pick up books and start reading. I read about many great people at that point, and one of them actually stand out, Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president of the United States. I read the story about Lincoln and realized that at a point in his life, he lost his mother at a very tender age. He lost his mother. That means he had little, or should I say no motherly care. So Lincoln had to actually grow so fast to take up a lot of responsibilities for himself. That was not enough. At a point in his life, he couldn't even afford a formal education. So he was even able to afford a formal education with just 3 months, like 1, 2, 3, not 3 years, 3 months. He was able to afford a formal education for just 3 months. So there were two pass marks for me there. The first pass mark is I have a mother that takes care of me. I could afford a formal education. So that means Lincoln actually got it worse than me. So that is a motivation for me. I realized that this man, Lincoln, doesn't have a mother at a very tender age. He couldn't even afford a formal education. But guess what? In March 4th, 1861, that man, Lincoln, was sworn in as the president of one of the most powerful nations on earth, the United States of America. So I knew that no matter the things I'm going through, someone actually went through a worse scenario and actually eventually became the president of one of the most powerful nations on earth. I don't need any other motivation again. So I knew that if that man can do it, yes, I can do it. So I get most of my motivation from reading. So I just go to the library, pick up books, I read, and I get the motivations I need. So other ways I get motivation is by speaking to my friends as well. So I speak to them, speak to my parents, and let them know the challenges, and eventually they used to come to my rescue as well. But the best form of motivation I used to get from myself is through reading.
That's great. Yeah, so those great resources and definitely an inspiring story about Abraham and his ascension to the highest sort of jobs that we have available, I suppose.
Absolutely.
So next up, we have taking action. Now, sometimes the amount of choices we face can be paralyzing. I know that when I first started, I wasn't really sure if I should be investing time in upskilling or should I be doing some project catalog postings or sending out hundreds of proposals. Interestingly enough, the more I learned about the areas that I should be focusing my efforts, the more I realized how little I actually knew. And this made it difficult for me to take action at times. I was sort of paralyzed by that choice of what should I be doing. So what does taking action in that first step look like for you? Do you write it down? Do you start by researching online? Or what is your process when it comes to just taking action?
Well, the first thing is before I take action, I knew that action is important. So whatever I think about, the slightest action is always better than the best ideas in the world. So if you just have everything in your head and you are not taking action, then nothing is going to happen. Like look around you, look around you. You see airplanes, you see skyscrapers, you see cell phones, you see laptops, you see a lot of things. These things are things from someone's minds. If they didn't take action, then those things will not be in existence as we have them today. So definitely action is important, number one factor. Now, it's not just enough to just take action. What is more important is taking the right action. If you are doing it the wrong way, you are also taking action. So like they say, it's not just about moving, it's about making progress. So how do you make progress? It's by doing the right thing. So if you want to progress as an independent professional or whatever thing you do, then you have to take action, but don't just take action, take the right action. So what I do to take the right action is that I sit down and I make research. If I need to make research, I don't know much about the kind of action I want to take. Okay, I open my Upwork profile, I'm not getting jobs. What are the kind of actions that I need to take? I won't just open my profile and just start doing anything there. I knew I have to make research. Why am I not getting jobs? So research is actually one of the steps I utilize in before I actually begin. In fact, it's one of the key things I do in taking action. So when I'm done making research, sometimes it might requires me to take a deep meditation. It requires me like I will just sit down myself, go into like just think so deeply in my head and begin to figure out different things myself, begin to figure. So those are ways to action. I'm taking action, like thinking about how I can actually do it right. So when I figure out the right way to do it, then I begin to implement the things I've actually realized.
Yeah, definitely. It's and you know, taking action can take so many different forms for different people, but it is definitely important. I know that one of the biggest game changers for me when I was first sort of starting out and trying to get people to respond to my proposals was something I mentioned a bit earlier, A/B testing. And I just want to touch briefly on what I mean by that for those that were asking in the chat. A/B testing, you can find a bunch of good resources. Just do a Google search for A/B testing, submitting proposals as a freelancer. Like that, literally that search will get you a whole bunch of fantastic resources. But essentially what it comes down to is you don't want to just copy and paste your proposal for each job onto each job. It doesn't work. You need to customize it. However, you can use certain frameworks. Like I have the same framework that I use for most of my proposals. It's 3 paragraphs. First one addressing the job, second one addressing how I would approach it, and third one is just an about me, which is pretty much the same on most of my proposals. I found that this framework works well, but it didn't start there. I started out by, 5 paragraphs. And so the A/B testing would be A, I have my 5-paragraph version, and B, I have my 3-paragraph version. I send out 10 with A, I send out 10 with B. And who responds? Is B getting all the responses? Okay, B is a better one. Now I make B the new A and I make a new form, and you just keep doing A/B testing until you really get to that point where people are responding back to you. So fantastic technique. Go find some additional resources on that on Google. They're abundantly available. But that was a game changer for me. But that was my example of taking action, A/B testing, as opposed to just making a unique one each time and not having a repeatable formula. If you happen to hit the bullseye on one, you need to be able to repeat that success. So making it more of a organized approach helped me a lot.
Absolutely.
Next up, we have keep trying. Absolutely. This is a topic that comes up in most, if not all, of the events that I do. And it's something that people have been expressing, frustration with in the chat, that I'm new, I've sent out 6 proposals, I've sent out 100 proposals, whatever it may be, and I'm not getting the amount of feedback that I would like. It's okay, that's part of the process. But Olaniyi, what was it like when you started? For me, it felt a little bit like shouting into an empty room with all the unanswered proposals I put out there. What was it like for you?
Oh, it was like many independent professionals, should I say, many freelancers. It's a similar experience with them as well. So I had a lot of challenges. Like it wasn't easy. There were challenges. The jobs were not forthcoming. I was sending proposals and doing a lot of things, but then I wasn't getting the job expected. So what I did, I knew I wasn't doing something right. So I knew I wasn't doing something right. So there were times things were not working the way I expected, but then I just kept trying because I knew, I told you before I became a freelancer, I've done a lot of reading. So I realized that whatever you want to achieve, there will always be challenges for you. So when there are those challenges, then you knew that you have to do something right. You have to just keep trying. You don't stop halfway. You don't stop halfway. You just have to keep trying. So there were challenges when I started, and the jobs were not forthcoming. So, but then I kept pushing, and I'm so glad I didn't give up.
Yeah, and it can be difficult. As we mentioned earlier, as independent professionals, a lot of us are alone. We don't sit in a room full of other co-workers that can say, "No, Will, you're not crazy. It's just a difficult process." So I'm just sitting there thinking, "Am I crazy? Am I just doing this wrong the whole way?" So I would suggest engage in the community. Like Olaniyi said, he has a WhatsApp group where he speaks to a lot of people. He has his friend network and family network he can lean against and talk to. But I will say, and everyone I've asked has had a similar experience, of finding success. Once you break through the ice of getting a few people, a few jobs through the pipeline, you get those 5-star reviews and a few positive testimonials coming through. Once you have that under your belt, it is so much easier to find work. It takes a bit of slugging to get those first few. It's true, but as Olaniyi has mentioned throughout it, work on your skills. Take a look at your processes. If what you're doing is not working, stop and analyze. We mentioned A/B testing as a great tool. We mentioned, reading about people that have found success and inspiration there. We've talked about looking at your peers' profiles on Upwork. You can actually look at fellow freelancers and see, who are the people that are earning the highest with the best reviews in this category. This is all readily available information. So finding those, for me at least, helped keep me going when things were very difficult in the beginning, because there were many times where I thought, well, I'm obviously just garbage at this. Right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So we have a lot of questions to get through here. I won't be able to get to all of them as we only have about 13 minutes here, but I'm going to get to as many as we can. So give me a second while I go through some of our questions here. I'm going to post also just where the event recordings will be housed. So a recording of this event plus all the other events, how to write killer proposals, how to how to succeed in different markets, you name it. We've done events about it. That's the link. You want to bookmark it. Promise me. I promise you it'll work well for you. There was a question on how important is it to get top rated or top rated plus ranking? And I just wanted to make a quick note before I pass it to you to answer that. Top rated plus is only visible to enterprise clients. So while it is real nice to have and an excellent benchmark, personally, I think a good goal to focus on is to first get that top rated. And if you get top rated plus, congratulations. But Olaniyi, how important do you think that badge is?
Well, it's very important for me because for instance, it's kind of social evidence that you are very good at what you do, like you are at the top of the game. One of the criteria of becoming a top rated plus freelancer is that you must have earned $10,000 on the platform before you can get a badge. Now, tell me, who offers terrible service and actually get $10,000 on a platform? So that's a kind of social evidence that you offer the best service before you can actually get a badge. So, for instance, if I get any client from other platforms like LinkedIn, for instance, so I can always share my Upwork link to them and go and check what I've done. Go and check my profile. Like check my profile, you see the badge there. So it is essential, but then it's not something you just get very very easily like that. So it's essential that I get the badge, and I did get the badge, and it's actually contributed significantly to even how I get more jobs. It's in fact contributes so much to my confidence because I knew I'm not just the average freelancer.
Yeah. A great question here that I wanted to pose to you. How do you monitor burnout so that you don't end up resenting your passion? Basically, how do you regain motivation? This is a very important topic and one that I have struggled with over my years of freelancing. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I think I talked about that a while back. Like the way I actually get motivation. I am a highly motivated person even before I became a freelancer. So like I was bringing my motivation to the freelance field already. So one way I actually get motivation is to read about great people, like study their lives. If you study people's lives, you study some of the people that were actually able to influence the world with their stories. Then you see that things can be challenging, then you just have to keep doing the things you're doing. So I get most of my motivations from reading, and sometimes I go on YouTube as well. A couple of videos, motivational videos on YouTube as well. So I watch those videos as well just to keep myself going. Because hey, I'm going to tell you that it's not going to be very easy. Like there's sometimes when you just feel down, you just be like, things are not working the way I actually expect. Like You just need someone to just cheer you up. So you have everything at your disposal. Even if you don't have the money to buy books, you can always download books on your phone. So you read, you get motivated, you watch videos, motivational videos, you get motivated. So those are essential ways that actually get motivated.
Good, good. This next one here is a little bit more of the mechanics, so I might just fill this one. How do you manage work invites that are coming in while you still have some work to complete? So I believe this person is asking, they've got projects that they're working on, but Upwork or maybe clients have reached out to them and they're inviting them to jobs and their card's already full. First of all, congratulations. These are the types of problems we like to see. My suggestion, my suggestion would be, because I found a similar situation. Once I got my workflow going, a lot of invites I just don't have time. What I will say first off is do not ignore them. Like if you don't have room for them, don't just let them sit there. That can negatively affect your JSS. It looks like you're unresponsive. It can lead to not getting as much future invites down the line when perhaps you need them. So what I would suggest when you're getting invites, respond promptly. And by promptly, I mean definitely within 24 hours if available. And it doesn't matter if you accept the interview or deny the interview. It won't negatively affect your JSS or anything like that, but it will illustrate that you are quick to respond and will result in potential more invites down the line. So it is important to address them regardless of whether you say yes or no to them. But congratulations on that awesome problem. Let me see here. So a lot of the folks here are saying how to land your first jobs, having trouble with my proposals is a common theme. I keep posting this link. I'm going to post it again because I love it. This is where all the recordings of events are housed. There are so many good resources there. There is also, I'm going to post a link to our academy, which is a brand new resource which focuses on, Upwork 101, how to write proposals, how to land those first few clients. It also has a link to our coaching cohorts, which we have not mentioned yet in this presentation, but the coaching cohorts are with our fantastic Upwork coaches. You may have seen them in some of our Talent Toolbox events, but those cohorts are sort of like segments of time. So it's a specific class that starts on a date, ends a few weeks later, but it gives you access to ask all sorts of questions for not only to your peer group, but also to the Upwork coaches who are fantastic at helping you dial in and troubleshooting your processes. So that academy link that I just linked there, bookmark that one, check it out. It's very important. Fantastic feedback from one of our attendees, Adam. I was part of a cohort group and it helped a lot. So glad to hear that. It is such a fantastic resource that a lot of people couldn't believe that it's free. You don't have to pay for it. How cool is that? You get to pick the brain of the Upwork gurus that work inside Upwork and just teach freelancers all the time. You get to pick their brains in a group setting and really find out what's broken, how do we fix it? So I think it'd be foolish not to take advantage of those resources when they're readily available to you. So my suggestion for all the people asking for, I'm not getting a lot of success in the beginning, check out those resources. I promise you they help. Well, let me see. Okay, this has come up a few times, so I'm going to mush two questions together. What are your strategies towards gaining client satisfaction? And how do you make sure you get positive reviews posted from your clients? What are your thoughts on that?
I believe satisfied clients will not end up giving you a terrible reviews. So you should just have that at the back of your mind first. So you should not focus on because you want to get positive reviews from the client alone. Focus on helping the client achieve their respective goals. If you are able to offer the best service, the kind of service the client actually requires, then automatically, when the job is done, you can just tell them, okay, I believe the job is done. If you don't have any other thing coming, could you please just end the contract now? I will always be here to render my service to you anytime you need it again. So then the client will automatically end the contract and give you a good feedback. So it falls back on offering the best service. So when I I offer the best service in my field. So when I do that, automatically I will get the kind of feedback I'm expecting.
Yeah, it's similar to my process. I have a three-part process that I do when I'm closing out a contract. My first part is, are you satisfied with what I've done? If the client isn't happy, I'm not done. And I don't want to close out the project because I might get a negative review. So first one is, Mr. or Mrs. Client, are you happy? Have I given you everything that you needed? They say, yes, Will, you have. My next part two is there anything else I can help you with? I just redid, let's say, your logo. do you need me to redo your website? Do you need me to redo your sales material to match this new branding element? So upsell, look for additional parts of work. If they say, no, Will, we're good for now, thank you. Say, fantastic. With that in mind, let's go ahead and close out this project. And if you wouldn't mind taking 2 minutes just to give me feedback as we close it out, it would really help me in finding additional awesome clients to work with in the future, just like yourself. This 3-part approach, take a look at my profile if you guys like later down the line. You can find me on the platform, obviously. Just like Olaniyi, my feedback is quite good from my clients. And it's not because I am the best designer in the world. I'm pretty good, but I make sure my client is happy. I look for the upsell opportunity, and then I ask them to give me feedback. And oftentimes clients that we work with are new to the platform. They don't know that this feedback is critical. They don't know how much it changes your experience on the platform. So simply asking them to take 2 minutes to do it is a very reasonable thing to do. And if you've already established that they're happy and there's nothing else they need from you right now, there's no reason why it wouldn't be a 5-star review. So this is an important step that I found very helpful. I will drop those. There's a couple of people asking for those links again. I'll drop them again in a minute. I'm going to see if we can squeeze in one more question. Olaniyi, while I'm finding another question, do you want to provide in the chat section some links if people are looking to connect with you, whether they're looking to follow up on the conversation or work with you in any factor? If you could drop that in there, that'd be great.
Absolutely. I knew that people will always want to learn more about me. So I will be happy to, I will be so happy and excited to actually learn more about them and perhaps help them solve their respective organizations or individual needs through my content writing and editing services as well. So I will be glad to share I will share my Upwork profile link and my LinkedIn link, so you can reach me through those two. So let me just go ahead and do that right now.
Perfect. There are so many good questions in here that I will not be able to get to. I do apologize. I wish I could get to all of these questions. One of the last ones I wanted to touch on, because I think it's important and it is a difficult question, is what is your advice on networking as an independent professional? How do you go about finding a network? I'll start with an example. There is a relatively new initiative with Upwork called Groups. So if you go on the community page that I will go ahead and link right now, so that link is for the Academy. Up at the top there, there's also just the groups. You'll see, I think it's the middle link up in the header. That's a place where you can find different segmented groups like fathers of Upwork, people that work in the USA, or design and creative. There's all sorts of different segments, but that would be a great place to start finding people, similar skill sets, similar environments, whatever the case may be, but a good place to start to find community. Olaniyi, any suggestions on where people can go to network with other freelancers?
Absolutely. There are several platforms you can actually visit to connect with other independent professionals like yourself. So LinkedIn is there, so you can connect with independent professionals. Like, you set up your profile, and it gives you a suggestion of the kind of people in your offering the kind of services you render as well. Like, it always provide options of people who are also freelancers on Upwork, so you can always connect with them. You reach out to them. I have a couple of people reach out to me already via LinkedIn, so you can reach out to them through LinkedIn. So you can also join Upwork communities as well. So you can join Upwork communities. So there are communities of freelancers where you can join people who are actually offering the same service as you. Let's say you are a graphic designer. So there are communities of graphic designer you can join on Upwork as well. So there are also communities of people in your locality. Let's say you live in Pakistan. So there are communities of people who actually stay in Pakistan as well that can also join as well. So there are several ways you can actually join other independent professionals and hasten your growth as a person as well.
Olaniyi, this has been a fantastic talk. I don't know if you're monitoring the chat closely, but so many people are expressing so much gratitude and motivation hearing your story and your tips. So I really appreciate it. And folks, feel free to reach out, connect, network. This is a fantastic opportunity. But thank you again, Olaniyi. I really appreciate your time. I look forward to catching you next time.
A pleasure, Will.